Come close. The world outside can wait. Every worry you carry today, every thought that chased you through the hours, every fear that sat heavy on your chest, I see it all. And I am here. I have always been here. You don't have to hold it together anymore tonight. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to be strong right now. Just breathe with me. Slowly. In and out. That's it. One breath at a time. Your body knows how to rest. It's your mind that needs permission. And so tonight, I am giving you that permission. Let the night wrap around you like a warm covering. Let your shoulders fall. Let your jaw soften. Let your hands open. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Matthew 11 verses 28 to 29. That is not just a promise for tomorrow. That is my promise for right now, for this very moment, as your eyes grow heavy and the day begins to release its grip on you. I am the God of rest. I created night so that your body could return to me, so that your spirit could breathe again. So here we are, you and I. The stars outside your window are the same ones I set in place before your name was ever spoken on this earth. And yet, I knew you were coming. I knew this night would find you tired. And I came here to sit with you. Let me tell you a story. It's an old kind of story, the kind that lives somewhere deep inside your chest and hums quietly when you hear it. There was once a flock of sheep that lived in the rolling hills of a green and golden valley. Their shepherd knew every single one of them, every curl of wool, every timid glance, every particular way each sheep moved through the grass. There was one sheep, though, whose name was Mira. And Mira was afraid of nearly everything. Not because the world had been cruel to her. Not because anything terrible had happened. Mira was simply born with a heart that felt everything too much. When the wind changed direction at night, she would startle awake. When clouds gathered on the hillside, she would move away from the flock, convinced the storm would find her first. When the days grew shorter and the air turned cool, she would pace around the edges of the field, wondering what the long cold months would bring. The other sheep didn't always understand her, but the shepherd understood perfectly. He would come to her in the evenings, after all the others had settled. He would lower himself onto the ground beside her, not saying anything at first, just being there. And Mira would lean against him, slowly, the way a child leans into a parent when sleep is near. And she would feel something inside her chest begin to loosen. One night, when the sky had gone ink black and the stars were distant and cold, Mira came to him trembling. She had heard a sound at the edge of the field, a rustling beyond the thorns. Her legs were shaking. The shepherd put his hand on her back. He did not say, "There's nothing to fear." He did not tell her she was foolish for being afraid. He simply said, "I heard it too, and I am already standing between you and whatever it was. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." Psalm 23 verses 1 to 3. Mira looked up at him. And for the first time in a very long while, she believed it. Not because the sound had stopped, not because the darkness had lifted, but because she was no longer facing it alone. Do you hear me in that story, child? I am that shepherd, and you are not foolish for the fears that rise in the night. Anxiety is not a character flaw. It is simply a heart that cares deeply, and a mind that hasn't yet rested its full weight on me. Let me be what Myra's shepherd was for her tonight. Let me stand between you and the rustling at the edge of your thoughts. Whatever it is that circles the perimeter of your peace, I see it, and I am already there, between you and it. You don't have to face the dark alone. So breathe in, slowly, and breathe out, and let your body believe what I'm telling you. Rest. Dear one, just rest. Now let me speak some words over you. Not just to your mind, but to your body, to your nervous system, to the place deep inside you that only quiets when it truly feels safe. Psalm 91. These are ancient words, but they are alive tonight. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Psalm 91 verses 1 to 2. A shelter, not a thin roof during a light drizzle. A shelter, a place you go when everything outside has become too much. When the noise is too loud and the demands too many and the questions too heavy. That shelter is me. I am not a suggestion. I am not a last resort. I am a fortress. Something you can press your back against and feel the solidity of. Something that will not move even if the world around you shakes. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Psalm 91 verses 3 to 4. Under His wings. Picture that for a moment. Not standing out in the open. Exposed. Vulnerable to whatever the night brings. But tucked in. Covered. Held beneath something warm and strong and infinitely gentle. That is where you are right now. You may not feel it fully yet, but that is what is true. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. Psalm 91 verses 5 to 6. The terror of night. I know you know what that feels like. The way the mind can turn at 2 or 3 in the morning. The way a quiet room can suddenly feel full of unseen weight. The way the same thought you managed during the day becomes enormous in the dark. I see that. I don't minimize it. I simply say, you are not alone in it, and it does not have to rule you. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. Psalm 91 verses 11 to 12. Angels, beings made of light and purpose, assigned to the task of watching over you. Not because you earned it, not because you are perfect, but because you are mine, and I take care of what is mine with every resource of heaven available to me. Let that settle in you now. Let your chest rise and fall with it. Let the tension in your shoulders finally release. You are guarded tonight. You are watched over. You are held. There's another story I want to tell you. This one is about a woman named Lydia. Though for a long time, she had nearly forgotten that name existed. Lydia had been carrying so many other names for so long. Names that weren't hers to carry. She had been called. Not enough so many times that she had started to believe it. She had been called too much by others who couldn't hold the fullness of who she was. She had called herself broken after the seasons of her life that had cracked. Something open inside her. And unworthy. That one she had written on herself so deeply that she had almost forgotten. It was ink and not skin. She lived at the edge of a village. In a small house near a garden she tended more out of habit than hope. Every morning she rose before the sun and worked until her hands ached. Every night she lay down with the same quiet dread that tomorrow would be exactly like today. One evening, a teacher came through her village. He sat near the well, and people gathered around him the way moths gather toward warmth in autumn. Lydia stood at the back of the crowd, half hidden behind others. She had not come to be seen. She had come because something inside her was so hungry she couldn't stay away. He was telling a story about seeds. How even the smallest seed contains the full memory of the tree it is meant to become. How the earth doesn't ask the seed to prove itself before it gives it room to root. How the rain doesn't wait for permission before it gives. And then he looked up. And somehow, across the entire crowd, his eyes found her. Not her neighbor. Not the village elder. Not the young girl standing closer to him. Her. And he said, not loudly, but clearly, daughter, not a question, not a command, just a name, just a real name. Something split open inside her chest. Not painfully, the way a cocoon opens, the way a fist unclenches after it's been holding something too tightly for too long. She stood there and felt tears move down her face, and she was not embarrassed. She was simply, finally, herself. See what great love the Father has lavished on us. That we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. 1 John 3 verse 1. That is your name, beloved. Not whatever the world has called you. Not the names born from someone else's pain or fear or smallness. Your real name, the one written before your birth, the one I have spoken over you since before you had breath, is mine, beloved, chosen, known, enough. Say it to yourself right now, softly, as you close your eyes. Not out loud, just let it pass through your mind like a warm current. Beloved, I am beloved, chosen, known, enough. Let those names sink through the surface of all the other names that have been piled on top, like water finding its way through layers of stone. Slowly, steadily, until it reaches the deep place where the real you lives. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43 verse 1. You are mine. That's what I say over you tonight. Not as a claim, as a promise. You belong to the kind of love that doesn't keep score. You belong to the kind of presence that doesn't leave when things get difficult. You belong to me. I want to take a moment here and walk you through something gentle. Your body has been working all day, even in the quiet moments. It was working. Your heart beating, your lungs expanding, your mind turning over the thousand small things that make up life. It deserves to rest now. Every part of it. So let's move through it together. You don't need to do anything except follow the sound of my voice. Start with your feet. Just notice them. All the places they carried you today. Every step. Every floor. Every pavement. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, let your feet go heavy. Let them sink into the mattress beneath you. Let them stop holding anything. Now your legs, your calves, your knees, the long muscles of your thighs, all of it. Whatever tension was stored there, whatever bracing against the day, breathe out and let it go. Let your legs be heavy and still. Your hips, your lower back. This is where so many people carry the quiet stress of life. The unsaid things, the unfinished things. Breathe into that space. And as you exhale, imagine it softening, like wax near warmth, like snow in early spring. Your stomach, your chest. Let your breathing be natural now. Not controlled, not measured, just easy. In and out, in and out. Your heart knows the rhythm. Trust it. Your shoulders, let them drop. Not halfway, all the way. Let the bed carry the weight you've been holding in them. Your neck, the back of your skull. Let all of it rest against whatever is beneath you. Your face, your jaw, your temples, the space behind your eyes where so many thoughts live. Soften it all. You don't have to think anything right now. You don't have to hold any expression. Just be. He grants sleep to those he loves. Psalm 127 verse 2. Sleep is not something you have to chase or earn or trick your way into tonight. It is a gift I am giving you. Right now. Receive it. Let your body be taken care of by the night the way a river receives rain. Naturally. Without resistance. Let me take you somewhere. Close your eyes and let the story build slowly inside you. Like a painting done by an unhurried hand. There was a boy named Eli who lived in a coastal village where the sea was always changing. Some mornings it was glassy and still, the color of pale jade. Some evenings it turned deep pewter, restless, full of its own moving thoughts. The fishermen of the village had learned to read it, but Eli had not. Eli spent most of his days watching the water from the cliff above the harbor. Not with wonder, with worry. He watched for signs of storms. He studied the color shifts, the wave patterns, the way birds moved above the surface. He was always preparing for the worst. His mother would call him in for supper and find him still there at the cliff's edge, forehead furrowed, cataloging the sea's moods as if predicting catastrophe was a way of preventing it. "Eli," she would say gently, "come inside. The sea will still be there tomorrow." "I know," he would say. "That's what worries me." One morning, an old man arrived in the village. He was not from there. Nobody knew where exactly he had come from. He had kind eyes and a slow way of moving through the world, as if he had made some agreement long ago with time and was no longer at war with it. He found Eli at the cliff. He sat down beside him without being invited and looked out at the sea alongside him for a long while. Not speaking, just watching. Eventually Eli said, "Aren't you afraid of it?" The old man considered this carefully. "I used to be," he said. "I spent years learning its worst moods. Every storm it had ever made, I memorized. I thought if I knew enough about the danger, I would never be caught off guard." "And?" Eli asked. "And one day I realized I had spent so many years learning how the sea could hurt me that I had almost forgotten how to sail on it." He paused. "I had been so focused on every wave that could sink me that I had stopped noticing all the ones that simply carried me home." Eli was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "But what if you're out there and a bad one comes?" "Then it comes," said the old man simply. "And you are not alone in it. And you have whatever you need in that moment. Not in advance. In the moment. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Matthew 6 verse 34. I know that's easier said than done. Believe me, I walked among human beings for 33 years. I know how the mind works. I know how anxiety rises when tomorrow feels uncertain. I know that worry can feel, in the moment, like control. Like if you think about it enough, you can prevent it. But beloved, worry has never once added a single hour to a life. It has only stolen from the hours that were already there. What I offer you is not blindness to difficulty. I don't ask you to pretend the sea's always calm. I ask you to let me be in the boat with you. And when the water changes, when the worst of it comes, I will be exactly what you need in that exact moment. Not before. Not in theory. In the moment. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7. A peace that transcends understanding, not a peace that makes sense on paper. A peace that is simply there, like warmth, like light, like the feeling of finally coming home after a very long road. That peace is available to you right now, not as something you manufacture, as something you receive. Open your hands. Open your heart. Receive it. There are nights when the hardest thing isn't the fear. It's the feeling of being unseen, unheard, small in a very large world that seems to move on whether you are doing well or falling apart. I want to speak to that tonight. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 40 verses 29 to 31. Even youths grow tired. That's not a criticism. That's compassion. Even the ones who seem to have everything, who appear full of energy and invulnerability, even they grow weary. There is no version of a human life that is immune to exhaustion. And I do not judge you for being tired. I come to you in your tiredness. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary. In his understanding no one can fathom. Isaiah 40 verse 28. I do not grow tired. That is not nothing. That is everything. When you have run out of energy, I have not. When you have run out of answers, I have not. When you have run out of hope, and sometimes, on the hardest nights, hope really does run out. I have not. I carry what you cannot carry. I hold what is too heavy for your hands. Right now, in this moment, you don't need to be strong. You don't need to figure anything out. You don't need to resolve the unresolved things. You simply need to let yourself be weak enough to receive what I am offering, which is rest. Real rest. The kind that comes not from escaping your life, but from trusting the one who holds it. Let me paint you a picture with words. Follow the image as I describe it, and let your mind settle into it the way a bird settles into a nest. Slowly, naturally, without effort. Imagine a road. It is evening on this road. The last light of the day is amber and low, stretching long shadows across the path. You have been walking this road for a while. Your pack is lighter than it was, but your feet are sore. There is dust on your clothing and weariness in your bones. The road curves gently ahead, and as you come around that curve, you see it. A garden. Not a formal garden with trimmed hedges and ordered paths. A living one. Abundant and wild in places. Soft in others. Roses climbing over an old stone wall. Lavender growing in thick rows. Purple in the dimming light. The scent of it already reaching you from where you stand. Ancient trees with roots that have been in the earth for longer than memory. Their canopies wide and deep. There is a bench beneath the largest tree, and there's already someone sitting on it. You know the figure. You have always known this figure. There is nothing alarming about the approach. Only something you might call recognition. Like remembering something you didn't know you'd forgotten. I look up as you come near, and I smile. Not the polite smile of a stranger. The real kind. The kind that comes from somewhere deep. From genuine gladness. You made it, I say, and you sit. The bench is warm from the last of the sun. The lavender hums with evening insects. Somewhere in the branches above you, a bird settles into its night song. Unhurried. Unhurried. You don't have to say anything. Neither do I for a while. We just sit, and in the sitting, something releases. Something you've been clutching. A worry, a grief, an old wound that still opens some days. You just set it down, like a stone you've been carrying in your pocket so long you forgot it was there. And now it's on the ground beside the bench. And it's just a stone. Just a small, ordinary stone. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In his love he will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. Zephaniah 3 verse 17. I delight in you. I want you to hear that word and let it do what it does. Not that I tolerate you. Not that I endure your imperfections. I delight. I look at you. The whole of you, the parts that shine and the parts that are still broken and the parts you wish were different. And I feel something that the word delight can barely hold. You are not a burden to me. You are not an interruption. You are not too much or too broken or too late. You are here in the garden, at the end of a long road, and I am glad you came. Stay here for a while. Let the evening settle. Let the lavender scent move through you. Let the warmth of the bench, the warmth of my presence, the warmth of being truly seen, let it all move through every cell of your body like light through a curtain. Let me read over you now the most beloved passage of the ancient songs, not as a poem to analyze, as a lullaby. Let each line land gently in you. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Not. I shall not want if I am good enough. Not. I shall not want once things get better. Right now, as you are, you shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He makes me, not asks, not suggests. There is a tenderness in that word. When you cannot choose rest for yourself, I provide it. I create the conditions for it. I bring you to the green place whether or not you found your way there alone. He leads me beside still waters. Not rapids. Not rivers running hard over stones. Still waters. The kind where you can see the bottom. The kind that reflect the sky. Tonight, I am leading you beside still waters. Let your breathing slow to match them. He restores my soul. That word, restores. It implies something had been depleted. Something had worn thin. Something had been overdrawn. And I restore it. Like a lamp refilled with oil. Like a dry garden after a gentle rain. I restore your soul tonight. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. You don't have to figure out the right path tonight. It isn't your job to map the next season of your life in the dark hours before sleep. I guide. You follow. And my guidance is not conditional on your ability to see the whole road. It's enough to take the next step. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff. They comfort me. The darkest valley. I do not promise you there will never be a valley. I promise I am in it with you. Rod and staff. Tools of the shepherd. Instruments of safety and direction. Signs that you are not wandering alone, but being actively watched over and guided. Even in the dark, especially in the dark, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. A table set for you, not after the enemies have been defeated. In their presence, in the middle of difficulty, provision, in the middle of uncertainty, abundance. Your cup overflows, not just enough, overflowing. That is the nature of my provision. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. All the days, not the easy ones only, not the days when you remembered to pray. All of them, goodness and mercy, following you like companions who never tire of the journey. And at the end of all roads, home, an eternal, unshakable home. Let those words rest on you like a covering. Every single one of them is true. Every single one of them is for you, tonight. There is something I want to speak to that goes deeper than the anxious thoughts. Something that sometimes lives beneath the worry. A wound, an old hurt that never quite closed. A grief that got busy and didn't finish grieving. A part of you that is still waiting to be healed. Let me tell you about a man named Thomas who came to me one afternoon in the marketplace. Not Thomas the disciple. Just a man with that name. An ordinary man. A carpenter who had lost the use of his right hand after an accident in his workshop 5 years before. He hadn't come for healing. He had actually come to trade goods. But when he saw me, something moved through him. Some old longing that he had buried under 5 years of learning to live without. His friends had stopped asking him how he was. His wife had long since learned not to look at his hand when she thought he could see her. He had become very skilled at not talking about it. I stopped walking when I reached him. The crowd moved around us like a river around 2 stones. How long? I asked. Just that. He looked at his hand, and then back at me. 5 years. He said, "What do you want me to do?" I asked. He was quiet for a moment. Not because he didn't know. Because saying it out loud made it real. Because hope is a dangerous thing when you've learned to live without it. "I want to work again," he finally said. "With both hands. I want to hold my daughter's hand with my right hand again. That's what I want." I reached out and took his hand in both of mine. And I held it. Not dramatically. Not with any kind of performance. I just held it. And I looked at him. And I said, "Be whole." And the hand opened. And warmth moved through it like light through a cracked door. And he flexed his fingers. Slowly at first. Then with growing wonder. And he wept. He wept the way you weep when something you had given up on comes back. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147 verse 3. I want to touch the place in you that corresponds to Thomas's hand tonight. The place you have learned to live around. The old injury that you have adapted to so thoroughly that sometimes you forget it was ever different. I am not in a hurry. Healing does not always come in a single moment, though sometimes it does. Sometimes healing is a long, gentle process, like the mending of a broken bone. Weeks of careful holding, of providing the right conditions, of patient waiting. But it comes right now. As you lie here, would you let me hold that place? Not analyze it, not fix it on a timeline. Just hold it. Just rest it in my hands the way Thomas rested his. Whatever the wound is, see its name in your own heart. You don't have to say it out loud. Just let me know what it is. I already know. But there's something in the surrender of naming it, of bringing it into the open between us, rather than keeping it folded away in the dark. Good. I have it now. I am holding it. You don't need to hold it anymore tonight. Just sleep and trust that what is in my hands is being tended. By his wounds we are healed. Isaiah 53 verse 5. I know what it is to be wounded. I carry the marks of it in my hands and my side. I am not untouched by suffering. I am transformed by it. And that transformation is available to you. Not the erasure of your story, but its redemption. It's turning towards something that ultimately serves love. Let me take you somewhere very still now. Your body should be heavy and warm. Your breathing should be slow. Let the story dissolve into image. You are lying on your back in a field. It is late summer, warm enough to be comfortable in the open air, cool enough that the night feels clean and gentle. The grass beneath you is thick and soft, and the earth beneath the grass is steady and patient and old. Above you, the sky, and it is full, not the partial sky of a city, stifled by its own light, but a true country sky, or a desert sky, or an ocean sky, a sky that goes all the way to the edges of itself and then keeps going. Stars so numerous they lose count of themselves. The pale river of the Milky Way arching overhead like something someone spilled and decided to keep. Just breathe and look at it. You don't need to name any of the stars. You don't need to know the constellations. You don't need to understand astronomy or cosmology or the distances involved. You just need to look up. There is something that happens to human anxiety when it encounters scale like this. Something in the nervous system that says, oh, I am not as large as I thought. My problem is not the size I believed it to be. The universe is very old and very large, and I am held within it by a God who knows every star by name and who also knows mine. He determines the number of the stars and calls them each by name. Great is our Lord and mighty in power. His understanding has no limit. Psalm 147 verses 4 to 5. He names the stars. There are hundreds of billions of stars in this galaxy alone, and hundreds of billions of galaxies beyond it. And I name them all. Every one. And yet the very next thing the scripture says is that my understanding has no limit. Meaning, knowing the stars has not exhausted my attention. You are not lost in the arithmetic. You are counted. Look up at that sky from your imagined field. Let your mind go quiet the way night quiets a busy street. Let the enormity of it press down on you gently, not crushingly, but the way a weighted blanket presses down. The way firm, steady pressure communicates to a body. You are held. You are held. You are held. Stay there for a while. There is no need to move. There is nothing you need to do. The stars are doing what they do. The earth is turning, gently, as it always turns. The night is unfolding exactly as nights have always unfolded since the first one. And you are here, present, alive, held. There's one more story I want to tell you before the night grows very deep. This is a softer story, a quiet one. Let it carry you. There was a girl named Saoirse who grew up in a lighthouse on a rocky northern coast. Her father was the lighthouse keeper, a man of few words and steady habits, who kept the great lamp burning through every kind of weather because ships depended on it, and he knew it. Saoirse grew up understanding light as a duty. Light kept things from breaking. Light guided what was lost. Light told the dark where it could not go. But she had also grown up in the noise of the sea, the constant movement of it, the way it roared in winter and whispered in June and was never, ever entirely still. And some nights, when the fog was thick, and the ships came too close, and her father climbed the stairs, with that particular tightness around his eyes, she would lie in her bed, and press her face into her pillow, and try very hard to believe everything was going to be all right. Her father had a practice that she remembered all her life. On the worst nights, the nights when the storm was real, and the danger was not imaginary, he would come to her room before, climbing the stairs to tend the lamp. He would open the door softly, and he would say just this: "I've got the light." That was all. 4 words. "I've got the light." And she would breathe, and she would know. Someone who knows what he is doing has already taken responsibility for the thing that needed to be done. The ships will be safe. The rocks will be visible. The night will not win tonight, because he's got the light. That is what I want to say to you tonight. Not as a metaphor, as a fact. I've got the light. Whatever is dark in your circumstances right now, whatever situation feels like a ship moving toward rocks and fog, I've got the light. I haven't been asleep. I haven't been distracted. I haven't lost track of your story or the people you love or the things you're afraid of. I am tending the lamp. Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path. Psalm 119 verse 105. Not a floodlight that illuminates the entire road all at once. A lamp for your feet. Enough light for the step you're on. Enough light for tonight. The rest will be given when the rest is needed. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27 verse 1. Whom shall I fear? That question is worth letting sit in you. Name the thing you're afraid of. Name it honestly. And then let that question move through it. In the light of the one who holds the lamp. In the presence of the one who is the stronghold. Is this the thing I thought it was? Sometimes in the morning, what seemed enormous in the night reveals itself to be a size the daylight can handle. But you don't have to wait for morning. You have my presence right now, which is better than morning. I want to give you something to carry through the night. Not a task. An anchor. A truth so fundamental that no dream can disturb it and no fear can undo it. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28. All things. The scripture is careful with that word. Not the easy things. Not the comfortable things. All things. Including the things you don't understand yet. Including the chapter you're in right now that doesn't make sense from the inside. I am working in all of it. Not despite the difficulty. Through it. Not someday. Now. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation, will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Romans 8 verses 38 to 39. Read that list again in your mind. Neither death nor life. The biggest things and the ordinary things. Neither the present. What is happening right now. Tonight. Nor the future. What might happen. What you fear might happen. Neither height nor depth. The mountaintop moments or the valley moments. Nothing. Nothing in all creation. You cannot fall far enough to fall out of my love. You cannot wander far enough. You cannot fail often enough. You cannot be broken enough or down enough or run far enough. My love is not a lake with edges. It is an ocean without a shore. And you are in it. Let that be the last fully formed thought in your mind as you drift towards sleep. Not a worry. Not a plan. Not a rehearsal of tomorrow's difficulty. Just this. Nothing can separate me from the love of God. Nothing. Tonight. Not one thing. My voice is going to slow now. The stories are going to become softer. Shorter. Like a hand that was once stroking your hair growing lighter as you drift. The night is deepening. Let yourself go with it. There was an old man who lived in a village that had been clear of its forest long ago. Most of the villagers had made their peace with the bare hills. But this old man had not. Every morning before breakfast, he went to the edge of the village with a bag of seeds and a small shovel. He dug holes in the rocky soil. He dropped seeds in. He covered them. He watered them from a clay jar he carried. People asked him once why he bothered. He was old. The trees, if they grew at all, would take decades to become what they were meant to be. He would not live to sit in their shade. He thought about this for a moment. Then he said, I'm not planting them for me. I'm planting them for the children who don't exist yet. And because trees deserve to be where trees belong. He planted every morning for 11 years. And when he died, there were 200 young trees growing on the hillside above the village. Small still. Thin still. But growing. every one of them growing. The village is old now. The trees are tall. Birds nest in them and children climb them, and on hot summer days the shade is deep and sweet. And somewhere in the way the light falls through those branches, there is a kind of immortality that no grave could hold. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6 verse 9. The good you do today, the kindness, the faithfulness, the quiet perseverance when no one is watching. It is being planted. You may not see the shade, but it is growing. Nothing done in my name with a willing heart is ever wasted. Rest now. You have planted enough seeds today. The growing is mine to tend through the night. The hour is late now. Your body has been resting for a while. The stories have done their work. The scriptures are settling into you like rain into dry soil. Slowly, steadily, at a depth that the daylight thinking never quite reaches. If there are still thoughts moving through you, and there may be, because the mind is persistent in its work, don't fight them. Just notice them. Observe them the way you observe clouds passing through a sky you are lying beneath. They pass. They are not permanent. They are thoughts, not facts. And beneath the thoughts, beneath the planning and the worrying and the remembering and the anticipating, there is a stillness, a deep, old stillness that was there before the thoughts began and will be there after the last one passes. That stillness is where I live. That is the place in you that is closest to me. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46 verse 10. Be still. Not perform stillness. Not achieve stillness. Just be still. Let the activity inside you slow the way water slows when it reaches a wide, deep place. You are in a wide, deep place right now. There is room here. There is room to stop moving. And know, not understand. Know. The kind of knowing that lives below language, below thought. The bone deep, blood deep knowing of a child in a parent's arms. The knowing of being genuinely, completely safe. That I am God, not an idea of God, not a religious concept. I am present tense, continuous, here, in this room, in this moment, in the air moving in and out of your lungs, in the steadiness of your heartbeat. I am here. I am here. I am here. One more story, a very quiet one. There was a river that flowed through a dry land. For most of the year, the land around it was red and parched and the sun was relentless. But the river kept moving. Not loudly. It was not a rushing river. It was a quiet river, consistent and unhurried, flowing through the dry country as if the heat was simply not its business. Along its banks, things grew that grew nowhere else. Trees with deep roots that had found it long ago. grasses that stayed green while everything beyond the bank turned to dust. Birds that nested in those trees and filled the mornings with sound, completely unconcerned about the drought surrounding them. Someone once asked one of the old trees how it survived the dry years. The tree's answer, as trees answer, in the way its roots grew, in the direction of its long, slow life, was simple. The drought was real, but so was the river, and it had never stopped choosing the river. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. Jeremiah 17 verses 7 to 8. You are that tree, and I am the river. And tonight, even if everything else around you is parched, even if the circumstances of your life have been dry and hard and demanding, you are rooted beside the water. You have access to what your roots have always known how to find. The river does not run dry. The river never forgets what it is. The river is patient and constant and generous. And it does not require your anxiety or your effort or your perfect faith to keep flowing. It just flows. And your roots are in it. Let that image hold you now as the night grows very still. Roots in water. River moving quietly. Green in the dry season. Held. I want to speak some of my own words over you now. Words I actually said. Recorded by those who walked beside me and wrote them down so that they could reach you. Here. Tonight. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. John 14 verse 27. Not as the world gives. The world gives peace conditionally. When the circumstances settle. When the problem resolves. When the threat passes. The world's peace is a consequence of external conditions. My peace is not. My peace exists independent of your circumstances. It is not absent during the storms. It is the thing that carries you through them. I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble. But take heart. I have overcome the world. John 16 verse 33. I have overcome the world. Not will overcome. Have. Past tense. Already accomplished. Whatever stands against you. Whatever seems unmovable or unbeatable or too large for the life you have. I have already overcome it. You are not fighting a battle whose outcome is uncertain. You are living in the aftermath of a victory already won. Take heart. That phrase. It means more than cheer up. It means take courage into your very heart. Let the victory I have won become part of your own heartbeat. Let it be the rhythm your blood moves to. Overcome. 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 You are very nearly asleep. I can tell. The space between thoughts is growing wider. The images are beginning to soften at their edges the way dreams do.
Let them. I am going to stay with you. Even as the voice fades and the words become more distant, I am here. Even as your consciousness crosses the threshold from waking into sleeping, I am on both sides of it. Even in your dreams, you are not alone. There is a kind of prayer that has no words. It is simply presence, simply the awareness, however faint, of being held. That is the prayer of sleep. That is what I receive from you tonight as you release the day and give yourself to rest. And I receive it gladly. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4 verse 8. In peace, not in resolution, not in certainty about tomorrow. In peace, because the one who holds tomorrow also holds tonight. In peace, because safety is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of the protector. In peace, because I am here. Let your eyes stay closed. Let your breathing stay slow and even. Let every muscle be loose and heavy. Let your mind rest from its work of understanding and planning and worrying. You did enough today. You carried what you carried. You loved who you loved. You struggled where you struggled. And that is enough. It is always enough. Tomorrow will come with its own light and its own grace. I will be in it, ahead of you, already there when you arrive. Tonight is for rest, only rest. Let me tell you one last, very small story. A young child had been at a long celebration, a gathering of family and laughter, and music and food. The kind that starts in the afternoon and doesn't end until the sky is deep black. And the youngest ones are long since carried home. This child had not wanted to sleep. There was too much happening, too many interesting conversations. She couldn't fully follow. Too many adults with interesting faces. Too many pieces of music she had never heard before. She had held on as long as she could, but eventually her body made the choice her mind had refused to make. Her eyes grew heavy mid-sentence. Her head tipped forward, and before she knew it, she was asleep. Her father saw it happen. He set down his drink and walked over and gathered her up. Gently, so gently, the way only fathers and mothers learn to do. And he carried her through the party, through the warm noise of it, and out into the cool night air, and into the car, and along the quiet road home, and up the stairs, and into her bed. She didn't feel any of it. She was completely, deeply, trustingly asleep through all of it. And when she woke the next morning, she was exactly where she needed to be. Safe, warm, in her own room, with no memory of the journey that had gotten her there. That is my invitation to you tonight. Fall asleep in the middle of things. You don't have to see the whole journey. You don't have to stay conscious for the carrying. Just go. Let yourself go. and trust that the hands that hold you know exactly where home is and will have you there by morning. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 91 verse 4. Under his wings, covered, carried, safe. Sleep now, as this long night continues around you. I speak this over you now. May your body know it is safe. May every nerve and muscle and cell receive the gift of this night's rest, and may they be restored in ways you won't even notice until tomorrow, when you find yourself more whole than you expected. May your mind grow quiet, not empty, but quiet. May the thoughts that have been circling find a soft place to land and rest, like birds finding their branches before dark. May your heart release what today asked it to hold. May the grief, the worry, the longing, the unfinished business, may all of it find its way gently into my hands, where it will be tended through the night while you sleep. May your spirit breathe deep, unhurried, spacious breaths, the kind that come when a burden has been set down, the kind that come when you are finally in a place where you are known and loved and safe. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Numbers 6:24-26. That peace, the peace of a face turned toward you in warmth, in recognition, in love. That is what I leave with you tonight. Sleep now, dear one. Morning will come, and I will be in it. Let me continue sitting with you. The night is still generous, still wide, and there is more I want to give you before morning comes. So let the voice carry on, soft, steady, unhurried, and let yourself drift further with each word. There was once a master weaver who lived in a hilltop house with windows on all four sides. She made tapestries, not the decorative kind that hang on walls to fill silence, the kind that tell stories, the kind that people travel distances to see, because looking at them felt like receiving something that hadn't been given to you before. Her craft had taken decades to learn, and the most important lesson had not come from her teacher or from any book. It had come from a mistake. Early in her training, she had been working on a large piece, weeks of careful work, when she discovered, deep in the middle section, a broken thread. It ran for several inches through what should have been a solid background, creating a fault line, a gap, a flaw visible only when the tapestry was held up to light. She had wept. She had considered abandoning the whole piece. She had gone to her teacher and shown it, convinced there was nothing to be done. Her teacher had looked at it for a long time. Then she had taken the tapestry back to the loom end instead of pulling it apart and starting over. She had done something unexpected. She had woven the broken thread into the design.
She had let the gap become a beam of light in the scene. A window in a wall that hadn't been planned. A shaft of morning falling through leaves. The flaw had become the most luminous part of the piece. When the students stared in amazement, the teacher said, "The design always knew that thread would break. The story always included that light. You simply couldn't see it from the outside until the breaking showed you where it belonged." And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28. This is what I do with broken threads. Not despite the breaking, because of it. The places in your story that felt like failures, like gaps, like faults you could not repair. I have been working those threads into something you cannot yet see. From where you stand, the wound that opened you to compassion, the loss that taught you to hold things more gently, the season of nothing that prepared, the ground for everything that followed, every thread. I am not a God who works only with perfect materials. I work with what is real. I work with you as you are. And I make something out of it that takes your breath away. If you will trust me long enough to see it. Rest in that tonight. The tapestry is not finished. And the broken threads are not the end of the story. Inhale peace. Exhale fear. Let me guide your breath for a little while. Not as an exercise, as a prayer. Each breath in and out can become a small conversation with me. A giving and a receiving. A releasing and a receiving back. Breathe in very slowly now. In through your nose. If you can, feel the coolness of the air as it enters. Follow it down into your chest, into your belly. Let your body expand with it fully. And breathe out through your mouth. Slowly. Feel the warmth of the air as it leaves. Let your body fall. Let the exhale be longer than the inhale. There's more release in the out breath. More letting go. Take your time with it. As you breathe in, let a word come with it. Not forced. Let it arrive naturally. Perhaps peace. Perhaps held. Perhaps simply yes. Whatever word rises, receive it as a gift from me on the inhale. As you breathe out, let something go. Not dramatically, just gently release it. On the outgoing breath away, a hand opens to release a stone into water. Whatever is ready to be released tonight. A fear, a resentment, an anxious thought, an old grief. Let it ride the exhale out and away. Then he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit." John 20 verse 22. The very first thing I gave to human beings was breath. The breath of life. My own breath. Given into the first person's lungs. Every breath you have taken since that first human drew air is a continuation of that original gift. Your breathing is my gift. Tonight, it is also your prayer. Continue breathing slowly. In. Receiving. Out. Releasing. In. Receiving. Out. Releasing. Let this rhythm carry you deeper into the night. Deeper into rest. Deeper into the safety of my presence. There is nothing you need to do except breathe. Nothing you need to figure out. Nothing you need to hold on to. Just this. Just this gentle in and out. Just this. Another story now. Very gently. Let it move through you like water. In a village on the edge of a dry plain, there was a well that had never run dry. Not in living memory. Not in the memory of anyone's grandmother or grandmother's grandmother. The village had been through hard summers. Summers when the crops turned brown, and the river slowed to a whisper, and the sky stayed blue-and merciless for months. But the well had always held water. The village elders didn't fully understand why. The well had been dug by hands that were long since dust. Its source was somewhere deep underground, fed by something that moved slowly and steadily through the rock far beneath the surface. Something that was not affected by what happened on top. Children of the village grew up learning this. When things were dry above, you went to the well. When the visible water was gone, the invisible water remained. The drought was real, but it was a surface thing. Beneath the surface, the water was always there. One summer, a young woman named Priya came to the well in what she thought was despair. She had grown up in the village but had spent years away, in a city where everything ran on visible supply chains and tangible resources, and the idea of an inexhaustible underground source seemed naive. She had come back depleted, and she was not sure she believed in the well anymore. She lowered the bucket anyway. Old habits. And the water came up, cool and clear and tasting exactly as it had when she was a child. Exactly as if nothing had changed. As if the years in the city had been a long dream in this. This cool water in her cupped hands was the waking. Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." John 4 verses 13 to 14. That is what I am. Not a river that depends on rain. Not a reservoir that empties in drought. A spring. Something that wells up from within. From the deep, invisible source that no season can reach. When everything on the surface is dry, when you feel depleted and empty and can't find water in the usual places, come to this well. Come to me. The water is always here. You may feel dry tonight. You may have felt dry for a long time. The anxiety, the weariness, the sense of running on empty. Those are real, but they are surface things. Beneath them, the water is still moving. The spring is still full. I am still here. Drink. Receive. Let the water move through you and replenish what the dry seasons have taken. Let yourself be filled. Psalm 34. He hears every cry. Let me speak some more ancient words over you. These are not just poetry. They are recorded testimony. The account of someone who was in the lowest place and found that I was already there. I sought the Lord, and He answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Psalm 34 verse 4. Not from all my problems, from all my fears. There is a difference. The problems may remain. The circumstances may not have immediately changed, but the fear can be lifted from the situation while the situation is still present. And without the fear, the problem becomes something the person can face, something they can move through, something that cannot undo them. Those who look to Him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. Psalm 34 verse 5. Radiant. Not because everything is perfect. Not because they have it together. Radiant because they are looking toward a light. You cannot look steadily at a source of light and remain in darkness. It doesn't work that way. And right now, as you turn your face toward me in this night, however tentatively, however tiredly, you are becoming, in ways invisible to you, more radiant than you know. This poor man called, and the Lord heard him. He saved him out of all his troubles. Psalm 34 verse 6. This poor man, not a great man, not a powerful man, not someone with credentials or achievements or perfect faith. A poor man, someone with little, someone in difficulty, someone who called and was heard. That is all it takes. A cry. An honest one. I hear it every time. I have never missed one. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34 verse 18. Close to the brokenhearted, not distant from them, not waiting for them to reassemble themselves before approaching. Close, nearest in the worst moments, present most powerfully in the places where human strength runs out entirely. If you are broken tonight, if something in you is crushed or cracked or has given way, then hear this. I am as close to you right now as I have ever been. Closer. A small story. A simple one. For the hour is late, and the words are becoming more like water than like stones. There was a house at the end of a long lane that always had a light in the window. Not always the same light. Sometimes it was a candle. Sometimes a lamp. Sometimes the warm orange glow of a fire in a hearth. But there was always something burning. The people of the area knew it.
Travelers who had lost their way in the dark knew it. If you were walking in the night and you didn't know where you were, you looked for that house. And when you saw the light, you walked toward it. And when you knocked, the door always opened. There were those who wondered why the household kept the light burning all night. It was effort. After all, it was cost. It was someone staying awake when they might have been sleeping. The woman of the house, when asked, said simply, "Because someone might need it. And I would rather burn 10,000 lights for 9,999 people who found their way without them, for the sake of the one who needed it to find their way home. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." John 8 verse 12. That light in the window, that is what I am, burning on your behalf, not going out when the hour grows late, not dimming when your faith is thin, not extinguishing when the night is at its deepest. I am the light that stays on, always, for you. Whatever dark lane you have wandered down, however lost you feel, however far from home, look up, look toward the light, and walk. You are already there. You are already walking toward it. The very fact that you are here tonight, letting this voice carry you, is evidence that something in you is still moving toward the light. Something in you has not given up. Something in you knows the way home, releasing anxiety at the foot of the cross. I want to do something with you now that is very gentle, but very intentional. Not a technique, a surrender. In your mind, I want you to see a simple wooden cross. It doesn't have to be elaborate or beautiful. Just solid. Just old. Set into the earth somewhere quiet. Maybe in a hillside. Maybe at the edge of a field. In the kind of still golden evening light that makes everything look like it was painted with care. Now, bring the anxiety to it. Not in the abstract. Specifically, what is the particular thing that has been living in your chest or your stomach or the back of your mind? Let it take shape in your imagination. Give it a form if that helps. A heavy stone, a tangled knot of rope, a dark cloud sitting just above your shoulder. Now walk toward the cross. It isn't far. The ground is soft. The evening is cool. There's no hurry. Just walk toward it, carrying the thing you've been carrying. And when you get there, set it down, right there, at the foot of it. Just set it down in the earth. You don't need to understand how it gets resolved from here. You don't need to watch it disappear or feel it transform. You simply need to let go of it, to stop being the one responsible for carrying it. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Cast. It's an active word, not gently place. Cast. Like throwing something far, with intention, with the full force of a decision. cast it onto me. Because I care for you. That's the reason. Not because you've earned relief. Not because you've prayed enough or believed enough. Because I care for you. That's it. That's the whole reason. Leave it at the foot of the cross. Walk away from it. And as you walk back into the evening, notice what your hands feel like without the weight in them. Notice what your chest feels like. Notice how different the evening air tastes when you're not carrying something heavy through it. You can always come back. You can always bring another thing and lay it down again. There is no limit to my willingness to receive what you need to release. But for tonight, for right now, just let it be there, at the foot of the cross, and let yourself be free. Walk back to the bench. The garden is still here. The lavender is still blooming. I am still sitting here, and I am glad you came back lighter. There is something I want you to know about how I feel about you. Not in general terms, not as one of many. Specifically you. Before you existed, before your name was your name, I knew you. Not the way you know a stranger you are about to meet. The way you know someone you have already loved for a long time. With the kind of knowing that lives in the bone. That doesn't need reminding. That is simply there the way gravity is simply there. I knew your voice before you spoke your first word. I knew the particular way you laugh and the particular things that make you sad. And the specific shape of the longing that lives in the deepest part of you. I knew all of it. And I chose it. I chose you. Not as a general act of creation. As a specific, intentional, irreversible choice. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Before you were formed, the knowing preceded the making. That means you were not an accident of matter, and chance who was subsequently noticed by God. You were a thought, a considered, chosen, beloved thought, that then became a person. You existed in my heart before you existed in the world. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. Psalm 139 verses 13 to 14. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Every part of you, every particular peculiarity, every strength and every weakness, every way you are different from anyone else. These are not accidents or errors. They are craft. They are intentional design. I knit you together with purpose. There is no part of you I made by mistake and then hoped you wouldn't notice. How precious to me are your thoughts. God, how vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Psalm 139 verses 17 to 18. My thoughts toward you outnumber the grains of sand. I have spent more thought on you, more attention, more love, more consideration then there are grains of sand on every shore of every ocean on this planet. That is the arithmetic of how I feel about you. Tonight. Right now. Even in your tiredness. Even in your uncertainty. Even in the parts of yourself you don't love yet. You are profoundly, specifically, individually loved. Not because you earned it. Because I am love. And love does what love does. It loves. Psalm 46. God is our refuge. Let the ancient words carry you now. Let them be like stones laid in a path through dark water, each one giving your foot a place to stand. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Psalm 46 verse 1. Ever-present, not sometimes present. Not present when conditions are favorable. Ever-present. Every moment. Every circumstance. Every season. Every temperature of life. There. Here. Present.
You have never once been alone in anything you have been through. Not once. Therefore we will not fear. Though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. Psalm 46 verses 2 to 3. Even if the earth gives way, even if everything that seemed stable turns out not to be, even if the worst case, whatever your worst case is, actually happens, we will not fear. Not because the earthquake is small, but because the foundation under the earthquake is still holding. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Psalm 46 verses 4 to 5. God will help her at break of day. Morning is coming. Whatever tonight holds, morning is coming. And when it does, I will be in it. I will be the first light over the horizon. I will be the shift in the air that says, a new thing is beginning. You have made it through the night, and you are not alone in the morning. He says, be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Psalm 46 verse 10. Be still. Again, the invitation that runs through all of Scripture like a thread of gold. Not performance, not effort, not resolution, just this. Be still. Know, and let the knowing be enough. One of the things people noticed about me when I walked among them was that I was never in a hurry, not urgently rushed, not running from appointment to appointment, not checking over my shoulder at the next thing waiting. I was always fully in the moment I was in. There were times this confused people who needed me. Lazarus' sisters sent word that their brother was sick, and I waited 2 more days before going. Jairus' daughter was dying, and I stopped on the way to heal a woman in the crowd, taking time that seemed impossibly costly. A synagogue leader asked for help and I didn't run. It was not that I didn't care. It was that I saw the story differently. I knew the ending that the people in the middle of the crisis couldn't see. I knew that what looked like my delay was actually my timing. I knew that what felt to them like my absence was actually my presence, in a form they hadn't recognized yet. There is a woman in one of those stories whose name we are never given. She had been bleeding for 12 years. 12 years of being considered ritually unclean, of being unable to participate in her community, of being avoided by the people who should have been closest to her. 12 years of trying every physician, spending everything she had, and finding no relief. She fought through a crowd to touch the edge of my garment, not to speak to me. She didn't think she deserved to speak to me. Just to touch the edge, just the outermost hem, and she was healed. But I stopped. I turned. I asked, "Who touched me?" My disciples thought it was a strange question in a crowd, but I had felt something that was not about the touch. I had felt a specific, particular, intentional faith, and I turned to find it. She came forward trembling, expecting to be rebuked for presuming, and I said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Daughter. That word again. Not woman, are you there? Daughter. Relationship. Belonging. Recognition. I saw her. The real her. The one who had been invisible to everyone else for 12 years. And I named her. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. But no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. And immediately her bleeding stopped. Luke 8 verses 43 to 44. What has been going on for 12 years in your life? What is the thing that has been quietly there? Consistently there? The thing you've tried to manage, and tried to treat and tried to fix, and it's still there? Bring it. Reach through whatever crowd stands between you and me. Even the edge of my garment is enough. I will stop. I will turn. I will find you in the crowd, and I will say your name. Psalm 121. One more song before the deep quiet settles in fully. This one is a watchman's song, a traveler's song. The words of someone looking at the mountains and asking where help will come from. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Psalm 121 verses 1 to 2. Where does my help come from? Not how. Where? And the answer is not a method or a system or a strategy. The answer is a person, a specific, personal God, the maker of heaven and earth, which means the one who made the mountains. You are looking at also made you, and holds you with the same effortless, permanent strength. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121 verses 3 to 4. He will not slumber while you sleep tonight, while your guard comes down and your consciousness surrenders to rest. I will not sleep. I will be awake. I will be watching every hour of your rest. There is a presence over you that does not rest, does not close its eyes, does not miss a moment of your vulnerability. You are safer in your sleep than you are in your most guarded waking moments. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. Psalm 121 verses 5 to 6. Nor the moon by night. The night you are in right now. The moon. The darkness. The quiet hours. I am in them with you. Not only in the daytime. Not only when it is convenient or comfortable. The night hours are not abandoned. They are watched over. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore. Psalm 121 verses 7 to 8. Both now and forevermore. Tonight is included in forevermore. This particular night. This particular hour. This particular moment of almost sleep. It falls within the boundaries of my forever watchfulness. Nothing slips through. Not this night. Not you. This is perhaps the most personal story of the night. Let it find you wherever you are. There was a child, a young boy named Samuel, who had a mind that never entirely stopped moving. Even when his body was still. Even when he was sitting quietly and you would look at him and think he was resting. His mind was spinning, turning over the day's events, rehearsing conversations, planning for things that hadn't happened yet, worrying about things that might never happen. He was not an unhappy child. He had a family who loved him in a home that was safe in days that were full of the ordinary richness of childhood. But there was a persistent restlessness in him that he couldn't name and couldn't stop. And sometimes it exhausted him. This inability to simply be still inside his own head. One evening his father sat beside him on the porch steps as the sun went down. They had been quiet for a while. Then his father said, "Do you feel that?" Samuel looked up. "Feel what?" "The evening cooling down. The change in the air when the light starts to go. The way everything slows down." Samuel was quiet. He tried to feel it. For the first time in a long while, he stopped thinking about the day behind him and the day ahead of him and just felt the air changing, the temperature dropping by a single degree, the birds shifting from their afternoon songs to their evening ones, a different quality to the sound, the smell of the earth releasing the day's heat. And something in him slowed down with it. "How do you do that?" he asked his father. "How do you make it stop?" "You don't make it stop," his father said. "You just notice something that's already still. And then you become a little more like it. The spinning mind. The busy, restless, anxiety-prone mind doesn't need to be fought or silenced or controlled. It needs to find something still to rest against. Something that is not spinning. Something that holds its shape regardless of what the mind is doing. And then, gradually, like a spinning top that finds a steady surface, it slows. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26 verse 3.
A steadfast mind. Not a perfect mind. Not a mind free of all anxiety. A steadfast mind. One that, even while it turns things over, knows where its foundation is. One that, even in the spinning, has something it comes back to. I am loved. I am held. He is here. That is the stillness I am offering you right now. Feel the air around you. Feel the weight of the bed beneath you. Feel the temperature of your own skin. These are present things. Real things. And in them, in the ordinary physical reality of this moment, I am. Let your mind slow to the pace of the evening. Let it come down from the spinning. You don't have to force it. Just notice something still and become a little more like it. Let me pray over you now. Not asking, declaring, speaking what is true over your life as you rest. You who are anxious, I call you peaceful. Not someday. Right now. I speak peace into the places where fear has made its home. Into the chest, where it sometimes lives as a tightness. Into the stomach, where it sometimes lives as a turning. Into the mind, where it sometimes lives as a voice that won't quiet. Into those places, peace, my peace, which transcends understanding. You who are weary, I call you rested. The weariness is real and I honor it. You have carried real weight. But right now, in this night, the weight is mine. You are invited into the rest that I promised. The rest for your souls. The deep, unhurried, unconditional rest that I give and that nothing can take away. You who feel unseen, I call you known, fully known. Not the version of you that you present to the world. Not the version you wish you were. The actual you. The complicated, beautiful, still becoming you. Seen completely and loved without reservation. You who are grieving, I call you held. Your grief is not invisible to me. Your loss matters. Your pain matters. I do not rush grief or minimize it or offer you a theological bypass around it. I sit in it with you, and I am holding what you cannot hold. Weeping, if you need me to weep with you. Staying, always staying. You who feel like you have failed, I call you redeemed. Every mistake, every failure, everything you did that you wish you hadn't, everything you didn't do that you wish you had, I have already accounted for all of it. The price has been paid. You are not what your worst moments say you are. You are what my love says you are. And my love says, beloved, the Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In his love he will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. Zephaniah 3 verse 17. I am singing over you right now. Not a song of disappointment or rebuke, a song of delight. Your name is in it. The melody is shaped by who you are specifically, with your particular story, and your particular face, and your particular way of moving through the world. I am singing you towards sleep. I am singing you into rest. One last story. The last one. Let it carry you all the way to sleep. Imagine a shore. Not any specific shore you have been to. A shore that exists somewhere between waking and sleeping. The kind of shore that the imagination makes when it is told. Peaceful. Vast. Exactly right. The sand is warm underfoot. The warmth of a day that has been generous with its sun. The light on the water is the last of the evening, golden and horizontal, turning the surface of the sea into something molten and beautiful. The sound of the waves is neither too loud nor too quiet, just steady, just that slow, reliable pulse. In and back, in and back. That has been the rhythm of the shore since long before any human ear heard it. You are sitting on the shore, not alone. I am sitting beside you, close enough that you can feel the warmth of my presence the way you feel warmth from a fire. Not seen so much as felt. Deeply and steadily and without any need to explain it. Neither of us is saying anything. There is nothing that needs to be said. Everything that needed saying has been said. Every wound has been named. Every fear has been surrendered. Every anxiety has been laid at the foot of the cross. Every broken thread has been placed in the weaver's hands. Every name that was not your own has been set aside. What remains is this: the shore, the evening light, the sound of the sea, and you and I. The waves come in, and as each one arrives, something inside you releases with it. A held breath, a gripped thought, a stored memory of difficulty. Each wave takes something from the shore as it retreats, gently, without force, and carries it into the deep water where it dissolves. After a while, you realize that the anxiety you came here carrying is gone. Not resolved, necessarily. Not every problem has been solved, but the anxiety itself, the fear body, the knot in the chest, the weight on the shoulders, it is gone, washed out with the tide, returned to the sea. What is left in its place is a feeling you might struggle to name. It is not quite happiness. It is not quite sadness. It is something larger than either of those. It is the feeling of being in the right place, with the right person, at the right time. It is the feeling of a story that is being told well. Even the hard chapters, even the uncertain ones, by an author who knows the ending and loves the reader. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. Revelation 21 verse 4. That is the morning I am preparing, not only in the eternal sense, in the day-to-day sense as well. Every night passes. Every hard chapter ends. Every long road eventually opens into the arrival. And what waits at the arrival is this: no more mourning, no more crying, no more pain, not an absence of life, a fullness of it. Life as it was always meant to be. Tonight is a small version of that morning. Every night is. The body rests. The anxiety quiets. The darkness passes. And morning comes. As it always comes. As I always provide it. So sit on the shore with me a little longer. Watch the last of the light. Feel the warmth of the sand. Listen to the waves. In and back. In and back. Counting you towards sleep the way I have counted every breath you have ever taken. You are safe. You are held. You are loved beyond the reach of your fears and beyond the depth of your worst night and beyond the end of your strongest doubt. Sleep now. I am here. I will be here when you wake. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Numbers 6:24-26. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4 verse 8. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40 verse 29. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. John 14 verse 27. Good night. Rest now. The night is yours, and I am in it with you. Sleep, and know you are loved.